Going on, Legion Order here, playing more RuneScape Dragonwilds. Welcome to our Daily Gaming XP Grind, episode 131. So, we don't really have a lot of raw food to cook right now. We haven't been doing a lot behind the scenes. We've got a lot of random things that we'd still like to eventually sort of get sorted out. And obviously, things are going to look relatively similar in what we're going to be doing before Valhalla comes to the game, which it's actually coming rather soon. Um, I mean, obviously, not soon enough, right? But let's figure out what we want to do. The first thing we want to do is actually grab something to give us more XP while we're out there, and I can't find it. It's the wild pie. Oh, sorry, in my inventory. That's why I can't find it. So let's go ahead and spend a little bit of time. Um, I don't really want to go kill sheep and ram right now. I'd rather hang out in a swamp a little bit. Maybe find some putrid rats. In the Bloodblight Swamp, obviously, if you were to go out there, um, I can't, the carnivorous plants, I can't really remember their actual name, but I think that's a fair way to represent them. Everyone will probably know what I'm talking about. Very powerful plants, but those actually seem to give a 1-to-1 ratio. Every time you kill one, you're actually going to get a, what's it called? I can't even remember the name. Um, Ica, that's right. I can't remember the first part, but basically that's going to be really important. Uh, I'm not sure how it works if you were using a bow and arrow and then sort of switch to a crossbow, but that would probably be a great way to actually fight like Velgar and probably future creatures in the game. Basically giving you the ability to leave a poisonous effect on them. Even the Abyssal Demon, I bet that would actually be quite great. I don't think crossbows actually do a poisonous effect. So, but they've also got other bolts, the enchanted blurite bolts, which do pretty cool things. So, obviously, I think that would be a great way to do this. You sort of take out your bow, poison the Abyssal Demon, and then choose a different combat style. And I believe the effect would last. I'm not entirely sure because I haven't really experimented with it, as I really don't think I absolutely need to. It's a good thing we had the wards down here. I think that this battle would have went quite differently. And then we've got a putrid rat here, so who seems to just be getting the best of us. I like how when you fight the Abyssal Demon, it sort of takes your the camera and sort of moves it around and does different things. I think that's actually rather cool to enhance the actual battle that you're going to be sort of involved in. And we got shot by an arrow. I don't really know where it came from. Obviously, we're going to get shot again. Hopefully, moving around a little bit will expose the enemy who's trying to kill us. Let's see. Nothing though. That's interesting. So I'm not sure why we weren't able to see potentially what was firing at us. But I mean, we're going to collect a little bit of herbs. We are going to. It's interesting how many Morental there are versus Harlander. But obviously, we're probably going to be able to grow Harlander. And I've talked about this quite a bit. I'm very interested to see how all that's going to take place. How are they going to introduce that? And sort of how are we going to be getting different seeds? I know for the longest time I've talked about potentially basically bird's nest, right? Because that's obviously the RuneScape way. Maybe Garou packs, Goblin packs. That's why I've saved so many. And if I'm wrong, I can open them all and get a bunch of resources that I probably won't really need except feathers, which I can actually use for cooking. So, and a little bit of essence, which I can actually use for rune crafting, which we're not really concerned about that skill because we've got so much XP. But we can benefit from it in the fact that we're going to need to craft new runes as they come to the game. So that's actually going to give us quite a bit of essence to use on new runes that we're going to need to make rather than have to go mine more. Which either way, it's really not a problem, but obviously go the easier route. We've spent so much time mining rune essence. If we don't really have to, that would be great. Also, it really interested to see if they're going to change the way that you actually collect rune essence. Is it possible that as the game progresses, that there will be bigger like areas full of it, almost like a Shiloh village where it was full of gems? I thought that was really cool. I think it would be really neat if they could introduce something that into the game later on. Maybe a twist on it. Obviously, we're on a different region, and you want to have its own unique things out here, right? So it could be something called something completely different, but sort of offer that same feel. And there's just certain staple places from the original RuneScape that sort of have always been a staple, right? That really you just really enjoy. I mean, even if you were max mining and you were just sort of bored in the game, which happens sometimes, you could always just go back and spend time there. And it would actually be like a fun thing to just sort of sit and mine gems for a while. That's obviously what you get when you get a grinding game, right? You're going to do a lot of the things, the same things over and over again. And I think that's one of them. But we're just in here right now gathering mushrooms. Um, that's really not their name, right? They have a different name. I don't know why I'm getting that delayed effect, the delayed hit, but the bitter cap mushrooms. So we're going to collect these. Obviously, I think that makes sense. That's a great way to get coarse animal fur. Also, if you want that, chests can be a great way to get it. Obviously, there's probably multiple ways, but um, I know you can open up a bird's nest and it's going to give you coarse animal fur. But if you're like me and you're trying to wait for Fell Hollow just to see how important those bird's nests are going to be potentially for farming, then you can go the chest route. And also, you get other good things from chests as well. So I think overall, you benefit from doing it that way. But obviously, everyone likes to play the game differently. I don't think there's any right or wrong way. And if I was correct in the fact that bird's nests will have seeds, it would just help you just in such a large way collecting those. Because if that's the way you get seeds, you're basically going to have to run around and kill hundreds more goblins and Garu. But then again, you're going to have to do that anyway to level up your different attack styles. But obviously, the beginner stage is where you're going to be getting certain things that you necessarily won't get probably from higher level. So you're going to need those lower level ones to actually level up the skill before you can actually do higher tier things. So if it is the right information, in fact, it would be really greatly beneficial to be able to have access to all those low level seeds. Just so, I mean, obviously, I like the way that they've done it if that's how they do it. It basically makes it so that way this area is not sort of ruined, or not ruined, but sort of left behind, right? It still makes this area still sort of um usable content, I guess I could say, right? Because the chances that you're going to want to come spend time somewhere where you've already sort of gotten everything you can from it. But I do believe that as they introduce new skills into the game, you will be able to come back to the beginner areas and you will need things from this place. So I think overall, you're still going to need to spend time out here regardless. Now, normally goblins spawn right here, and I'm not sure why they don't do that anymore. Probably a game glitch, but it doesn't really matter to me as I'm not that concerned about getting those goblin kills. We pretty much grabbed quite a bit of herbs, but I guess there's some more right here and we may as well grab them. So it's interesting. I contemplate whether or not I should use my herbs um, for cooking. Should I save them? Is there going to be potions that I'm going to need to make in the future that are going to require those? And would it just make more sense to save them? I don't really know. But let's go ahead and work on cooking a little bit. We did just work on ranged for quite a while. We were collecting resources. We've got this baked potato. I know there's a lot of different things we can actually do. I wanted to sort of see. We've got this stuff. I know there's some different drinks we can make. Let's go ahead and take a look, a closer look. So I think it was some of this stuff down here. That's right. So we need more fried onions and then the bread. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and see though. Reduces the stamina cost of woodcutting and mining, hunger drain, and resistance to bleed effects. Reduces the amount of shock damage. This is my favorite right now. So let's go ahead and see how many fried onions we actually have at our disposal. And then we can go ahead and make a little bit more of that. We've got 64 left. Onions. That's right. You got to go to the fractured plains to get onions. So it's actually quite interesting. Let's just go ahead and push F on this one just to sort of fill it up. And then we're going to drop out 2 of each. And then go ahead and... Oh, we got some more fried onions there, I noticed. So we can actually make a little bit of drinks. Let's see. This might not work, though. I actually want to pop a cooking potion as well. So that's going to grant us the most XP. I've sort of messed up now. I'm mixing things, and I do not like to do that, even though it's a constant result of what I'm doing in the game, constantly happening. So obviously avoidable, but difficult to manage. Um, all right, let's go ahead. I think you're going to get quite a bit of XP from doing 50 of these. Yes, 1265. So that's actually quite great. And then now we can see how many more fried onions we've got, and then potentially make a little bit more. I guess I really didn't collect all that many fried onions in the course of me playing the game, which is quite understandable, as the Fractured Plains was not really somewhere that I spent an insane amount of time. Um, I guess it's just I did sort of, but I really wasn't picking onions when I was out there. Right now, I'm just sort of seeing if I have any more bread that I can use, and it does not look that I actually do. So let's see if there's anything else we could sort of bring with us. I know there's the Harlander, right? But that's going to require clean water. So let's go ahead and grab a little bit of clean water and see if we can't make some drinks. The only problem I'm having right now is actually I've got so much stuff in my inventory. So maybe we could drop some things in and that might help a little bit. But let's see, Morental Toadlax. Want to make sure I didn't accidentally just drop everything out that I actually need. So now our inventory is full, but we need to go over here and try to do this. Okay, so it looks like a couple different things, right? I guess small animal fangs can be used as well. I completely forgot about that. That's actually quite crazy. I'm not sure about how many of those I have. I think I used a lot of them already. Let's go ahead and do these really quick. We can only make 11. Let's go ahead and make, I guess, 37 of these. And then we're going to pop a bunch of these, which is only 6. And I guess the small animal fangs, I think those might be used in range as well, but I'm not 100% sure. So that's something I'm going to have to look at. But I don't like how that did that. That should be there. And then I guess we could just use this as food. I guess it heals you too. So that actually helps a little bit. And that way it's like you're always, but then I guess it sort of works. I'm just trying to see actually how many more animal fangs. I've got 67, so I could make a little bit more, but I don't really want to do that. It's quite crazy how many I had, and then it just sort of dwindled down. And these are all things that need to basically be put away and organized, which I'm currently being really terrible at. Let's go ahead and do this. Looks like there's lots of stuff on the ground that I actually cooked from before, and I just didn't pick it up, so we're getting quite a bit of cooking XP as well, which is quite nice. Really grateful they switched it to a 1-to-1 ratio, because obviously, as you can see, you get more XP and you get more out of your actual time cooking versus having to basically collect 2 of something to get 1 of something. So really grateful for the change in that. Oh, we almost just grabbed all that without a cooking potion active, which would have been pretty bad. There we go. So we got quite a bit, 2470 XP. Let's go over here. Maybe there's something that sort of wasn't spawned in. And eventually we'll get rid of those campfires. I guess we really don't need them. I never really finished that project. Let's go ahead and look. It also looks like we've got some cooking potions as well that we probably brewed up. And then I think now we actually might be able to make a little bit more food stuff. Let's take a look. We can make more wild pies, 46 more. So that's actually rather a big deal. Another 1164 XP. So let's drop a bunch of this stuff in that we're not going to really want to carry it with us in our inventory. Fried onions might be something we might consider collecting a little bit more of, potentially in the next episode. So let's just go ahead and do an XP update. I think we're about at our time. So we've got 324,000 attack XP, ranged 63,000 XP, woodcutting 1,002,000, construction 2,014,000, rune crafting 977,428 XP, which is crazy. Magic 124,000, mining 4,240,000, artisan 4,127,000, and cooking 481,315 XP. So obviously, getting a lot done, lots more work to do, and we're having a great time with it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your adventures in the RuneScape Dragonwilds. Hopefully you're enjoying our content that we're bringing to you guys daily. And as always, Legion Uda out.